everyone, this is Mistress Nightmare here, and today we're going to be reading a new Laughing Jack love story. The story has been recommended or requested by Creepy Night Court Demon. She is asking me to read one of her stories, and this one is called Sweet Innocent Heart. We'll be reading chapter 1, and also I'll leave a link to this story if you guys want in the description box below. Before we get started, please hit that like button, comment, subscribe to this channel if you guys want more creepypasta fanfictions out there. Until then, let's get started. A stressful day at school. The teachers don't know what the limit of a girl's brain. And with mine, it's going to break up with the recent boyfriend that is not helping with my day. I just want to die. Maybe mom and dad can help out. I was on my way home, my two sisters and only brother was on a class trip for a while, so I was being alone for a while until my parents got home. When I got home, I noticed there was a note on the door. It was from mom and dad. I started to read the note. Alice, forget to tell you that we have a business trip. We won't be back until your siblings get back home. Just a little after when they get back home. Just use the key under the doormat. Love you, Mom and Dad. Great. Some help with that. Now feeling completely abandoned, I picked up the key from the doormat. I unlocked the door and put the key back where it belonged and went inside. And about my day, I plopped my book bag on the floor near the door and went to the kitchen and ate supper. I sat down and went to the couch in the living room and started to watch my favorite anime series, Black Butler. As I finished my supper, I heard a crash from my brother's room. I ran up to my brother's room and entered the room. His favorite toy collector cars were on the floor. I looked around and no one was there, so I decided to clean up the mess so that my brother wouldn't have to do the work when he gets home. Soon as I was done, I heard laughing from the living room. What's in the name of a creepypasta doing here? I cried in annoyance. I went to check in the living room to find. I noticed half of my Christmas candy were missing. Just as I noticed that, my phone rang. I went to answer it, and it was Mom. Me and Mom talked for a while before we both hanged up. I told her about the incident a few minutes ago. Oh, you must be the first encounter of Laughing Jack, my mother told me. I didn't know what she meant. Laughing what? I asked. My mother told me that my younger brother made up an imaginary friend named Laughing Jack. He always pulls pranks on anyone in the house. Must have missed Jacob and went to do at least a few tricks up his sleeves on me for the first time. I didn't what to say, Mom. Jacob was too old to have an imaginary friend. But yet again, he was 7 years old. Okay, I have to get off. But it was about time for me to get to this meeting. Behave yourself, okay, Alice? My mom told me and slightly hanged up. I looked at the wall and back at the phone. I snickered. Haha, likely story, Mom. Right as I said that, I heard the voice right behind me. I'm real, you idiot. I swirled around and saw nothing there. I was completely freaked out and went to bed. Before I went to bed, I turned off all the lights, all the things that produce heat. I always do that when no one's in the house. I open the last window in my room, pulled the covers off my bed, and laid down until I was freezing to my death. I curled up tightly against the cold, having my life flash before my eyes. I had the most awesome family a girl could ever have. I have lots and lots of friends. All of that becoming overwhelming when Jacob was born. My family started shutting me out. A lot of my friends started to move away, and some just stopped being friends with me. It's like I was more than a beautiful angel, and my punishment was for trusting a lot of having my wings ripped off from losing their grace. I started to lose the feeling in my body. There's a lot of things that cannot stop me now. Just when I was about to stop shaking, I felt a body's warmth wrapped around me. I thought it was Mom and Dad that got home early. Then I noticed what it was. Why are you freezing yourself to death? All you had to say is that you don't like my tricks, and I would have stopped, a voice said. It was a male's voice. It wasn't Mom, yet this voice was high-pitched. So there's no way it was Dad. I thought maybe one of my creepy friends had barged in wanting to play a trick on me. Either way, I was too tired to think more about it. Who was holding me? I turned over to who was holding me, laying my head on whoever's was holding me's shoulders, and fell asleep. I appeared in Jacob's room, only to find no Jacob. There was a note on the foot of his bed and began to read it. There's a class trip and I won't be back for a while. He'll be back soon. P.S. Soon or later, he's going to forget about me. Typical. That always happens. I went out of his room and bumped into one of his counters of toy cars. No matter, I'll pick them up later. I just got out into the hallway and I saw a girl rushing to Jacob's room to see what happened. Jacob told me about the girl. She was his older sister. She was abandoned on their parents' doorstep before he was born. He told me her name was Alice. I must say she was really pretty for a 17-year-old girl. A few minutes later, of nothing to do, I heard Alice hang up the phone. I got up closer to her to scare her, but when I got closer, when she said something that I felt offended to me. Likely story, Mom. She said to herself, and her mom told her about me. I'm real, you know, I told her, and she turned around, but of course, she didn't see me. She turned back around, really freaked out. It was already dark. I heard crying upstairs, usually Jacob, but I didn't go up there because that's Alice's room. It was like her peaceful world up there. But what's worse is coming to see what was wrong. She can't see me or staying down here and hear her cry all night. I decided to go up there. The first step I got to her room, it felt like Alaska's climate, but I had been up there. It was that cold. I turned to see Alice, and her slightly tan skin was almost white as Jeff. Her black hair glistened in the moonlight. I had to help out. I laid down next to her and on her bed. I wrapped my arms around her, snuggling with her until she was toasty and warm. Her color came back. My God, her body was like ice. I thought to myself, and I apologized for pulling my tricks on her. Even though she was fast asleep, I still said I was sorry. Once her color of her skin came back, I let go of her and kissed her forehead and tucked her in. Even though she was asleep, I told her good night. Good night, Alice. Take more pride in yourself. You're really cute. Before I went back downstairs, I took a glance of Alice. She really is cute. I smiled warmly and went back downstairs. Alice's point of view. I woke up in a puddle of sweat. Someone had tucked me in last night. Mother of Zalgo. I finally had a chance to let my life disappear and slipped right out of my hands. No matter. I started my day taking a shower, turning on the lights, and looked into the mirror, and I noticed a black kiss mark on my forehead. Who in the name of... I said to myself when I touched the mark after thinking about it. I thought one of my creepy friends was playing his tricks on me. Ugh, Alex, I said to myself, and I started my shower and wiped the mark off my forehead.